What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the specs of the Google Nexus 4 made by LG to the Samsung Galaxy S3. The Nexus 4 officially announced today, a bit of a surprise for me really, because the launch event was cancelled. I thought they might actually delay the release, but they have been released and you can find out a bit more about them. And since the announcement, a question that I've been asking myself, and as I'm sure a lot of people have been asking as well, is what is the difference between the Google Nexus 4 to the Samsung Galaxy S3? Galaxy S3 currently one of the most popular Android devices out there. I personally own one myself too. So I thought in my usual style, let me break down the specs and do a comparison of the hardware to give you guys a better idea of the differences between these two devices. So let's start off with the dimensions. The Nexus 4 is slightly less in height and width than the Samsung Galaxy S3. The S3 is slightly thinner, just 5mm thinner than the Nexus 4. So sort of similar in terms of the size that you're getting, and the look is sort of similar, but obviously you've got slightly smaller in terms of the height and the width. For the Nexus 4, the S3 slightly thinner. In terms of weight, the Nexus 4 comes in at 139 grams, the Samsung Galaxy S3 133 grams. So the S3 6 grams lighter. Not a huge deal personally, I think, but the S3 is slightly lighter. Screen size 4.7 inches for the Nexus 4, and the S3 4.8 inches, so slightly larger screen on the Samsung Galaxy S3 than the Nexus 4. Resolution, the Nexus 4 1280 by 768 pixels, and the S3 is 1280 by 720 pixels, so you've got a slightly better resolution there. The S3 obviously 720p HD, pretty even. The Nexus 4 is going to give you slightly more than the 720p HD. In terms of pixels per inch, 320 for the Nexus 4 and 306 for the S3. So the Nexus 4 is going to give you a bit more of a crisp and clear picture, only just slightly, because it's only 14 more pixels per inch, but the Nexus 4 is going to give you a slightly more crisper image on that screen. In terms of the processor, you've got the Snapdragon S4 Pro quad-core 1.5 GHz Crate processor on the Nexus 4. The S3 has a quad-core 1.4 GHz Cortex-9 processor. So the processor on the Nexus 4 is going to be slightly better on paper from looking at it. I've not looked too much into this processor myself currently, but on paper it's going to be slightly better than the S3. Internal memory, the Nexus 4 comes in the 8GB or 16GB versions. The S3 comes in 16, 32 and 64GB versions. External memory, external storage as a card slot. The Nexus 4 does not come with a card slot. The S3, obviously you've got up to 64GB micro SD card slot there, so you can really expand the storage, and if you've got a lot of images, music, etc., you can really use that for the storage on there. Now that's one thing obviously to bear in mind with the Nexus 4, is you're only going to have the 8 or 16GB versions, and that's going to be it. You can't actually expand that memory on there. Obviously you've got online storage such as Dropbox, etc., and you've got the cloud, so you can use those, utilize those. But in terms of phone storage on the device itself, you've only got the 8 and 16GB versions. Okay, RAM, the Nexus 4 comes with 2GB RAM as standard, which is pretty impressive. The S3, the international version, which is the standard version, is 1GB, and you can also get a 2GB version as well, obviously at different prices. The one I have currently is the 1GB version, and that's the most sort of international used version, so that's the most kind of default version that you have. In terms of camera, both come with an 8MP camera capable of filming 1080p at 30 frames a second. So you've got a similar camera in terms of specs on here. Both come with an LED flash as well. The front-facing camera, the Nexus 4 has a 1.3MP front-facing camera. The S3 1.9MP front-facing camera. So not a huge deal difference there in terms of the front-facing cameras. The next thing that we're going to come on to is the operating system. Now this is very interesting because obviously the big advantage that the Nexus 4 is going to have is you're going to get updates on there straight away from Google, because it is a Google phone. Now it comes with out of the box version 4.2, which is Jelly Bean of Android, and the Samsung Galaxy S3 comes with Ice Cream Sandwich. Now I've still been waiting for my upgrade. It's been a few months since Jelly Bean's been about, but I'm still waiting for the upgrade, because obviously Samsung has to go through Samsung first and they have to roll it on the devices. My current device has not had the update as yet. A big advantage that's going to be on the Nexus 4 is you're going to get direct updates from Google. So as soon as a new upgrade is out for the OS, you're going to get it on the phone. Massive advantage there. Another pretty cool feature on the Nexus 4 is wireless charging. You can charge the device wirelessly. The S3, no wireless charging there, so another advantage for the Nexus 7. In terms of battery, both have a 2100 mAh battery, so they're going to give you roughly about the same amount of power. Obviously, depending on the usage and also the operating system, you're probably going to get some different sort of times out of there, but they come with the standard, well, similar battery in terms of the mAh. Okay, price. Now obviously this is the most interesting part of the whole comparison. The Nexus 4 8GB version, £239 or $299. Absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely amazed at the price that these devices come in at. The 16GB version, £279 or $349. Absolutely, you know, these devices are coming in so cheap, really budget devices that at these specs I'm actually absolutely shocked at these absolutely budget prices. The S3, you're looking at roughly now for the 16GB version about between £350 to £430, or roughly around $550 currently. No doubt these prices will be coming down after the release of the Nexus 4 now, because in order to compete, you know, Samsung are going to have to really, everyone's going to have to lower the prices of the S3 undoubtedly. Now to summarize, those were some of the key kind of specs, and I think Google are really changing the market here with these budget devices, and they're really going to be sending shockwaves as the Nexus 7 did to the tablet market. I think the Nexus 4 is also going to do that, because you've got a very high spec device at a very budget price, which is absolutely awesome. I'm personally thinking of getting one myself as well. And Google obviously working on a very small profit margin, as with the Nexus 7, and really trying to get these handsets out there and these devices out there to the mass market. And I think they're doing absolutely great, because as consumers we get these devices, and it also brings competition is always good, obviously. What are your views on the Nexus 4, and which one would you go for, the Samsung Galaxy S3 or the Nexus 4 if you had the choice right now? Drop me a comment below, do let me know. If I do get hold of one, I will do a full review in the usual style. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button, it really does help me out. And do subscribe to the channel, I put videos up here very regularly, so do subscribe as well. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.